everyone. So glad to have you join us today. My name is Paula Kahn, aka La Pachamami, aka Plur Productions on social media. And today I'm so grateful to be here with members of Death is a Business. I'm here with Sonya, Erica, and Alex, who are representatives of the band. And they just released an amazing hit called Make Love. So I'm just really happy to get to talk to them about the song. I've been waiting for its release because it's just so twinkly and full of joyful energy. I myself am a performance artist and movement strategist, community organizer of Guatemalan, Jewish, and Iberian ancestral lineages. And by day, I work on building out the ecosystems of care that will model what a world without immigrant detention looks like. So I'm going to turn it over to Sonya and Alex shortly. So Death is a Business is a nomadic band, and they've done collaborations across borders, and they've been working with other musicians and other artists for quite some time now. I just really feel passionate about making sure that friends in my network get to meet each other and do collaborations, because I know that the art world and the music world can be very corporate at times. So I think this is, an act of resistance for us to do some virtual introductions for future collaborations and good times. So I'm going to segue into asking these bandmates some questions, starting with what is Death is a Business's creation story?
Thank you, Paula. Thank you for having us here. I am super, super excited to be here and sharing space with y'all. I think, Alex, you should start this one, since Death is a Business was kind of like a seed you planted a few years ago.
Okay. Thank you, Sonya. Thank you again, Paula, for having us here. Very, very honored. So I founded Death is a Business in my first year at college when I was in New York. It started as literally just me and my acoustic guitar in the beginning. And that was in 2013. So about now 7 years ago. And then slowly over time and over the years, the membership grew to become a full band. It's always had a lot of turnover, a lot of lineup changes. There was one year where we had 11 different musicians that were a part of the band just in that 12-month period. And then basically, I would say the bulk of Death is a Business before Sonya became involved with it was we were working on our debut album, which we put out last year. And we ended up spending 5 years just trying to make the one album. And there's a whole lot of challenges that went into that. And then we put that album out last year in October. And actually Sonya featured on a couple of those songs as a singer. And that was kind of the beginning of Sonya becoming more directly involved with Death is a Business.
Yeah, Death is a Business. Yeah, I really love Death is a Business as a concept because it's a music ensemble. So with that, it comes the title of nomadic. Like, we are not based anywhere. We want to make music everywhere and with lots of different fucking people, because music is very powerful. I started making music when I was like young, but I started seriously recording when I was in my Harvard dorm with my undocumented fellow classmate, and we were both undocumented. So we connected through music and hip hop. We recorded about 3-4 songs. Most of them are out. You can find them on YouTube or Spotify under Sonya Erica. Not all of them are out, so who knows? Look out in the future. You might find one. Yeah, that's basically how I came to be part of Death is a Business. After college, I recorded music and I dedicated a lot of my life to activism and to lobbying and to passing laws. And it just became really fucking exhausting because it takes so much time. It's so fucking slow. So now I'm giving myself the time to dedicate my life and my time to music, because it's something that I kind of dismissed for a while to dedicate it to activism. But now it's the time. Like, I just feel it. Like, I feel it in my body. Like, I have to fucking do this. And yeah, I mean, part of it is government being so fucking frustrating, to be honest. That's why I became a musician. And so it's awesome to build this shit with so many musicians in Mexico, and also in New York. We have two awesome super bandmates, and hopefully continue growing out the band and the group and continuing this nomadic band and culture and helping the world connect through music. But I won't say too much about that because I know that's one of your questions.
We'll leave it as a cliffhanger. But yeah, I some of my favorite groups are ensembles, and they put on these like big orchestras, and they do like collaborations with artists in different countries, different territories, and that always like blows my mind. Yeah, so I really like the direction that y'all are headed and all that you're brewing. And I also can relate to being burnt out from political work and just like needing to turn to art and music to really fill the void from the apocalypse.
Can we talk about that for a little bit? Can we
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your political burnout experience? Because I feel like this is important for people. I feel like a lot of people are not politically involved. We're basically just like, oh, we can vote. But past that, like a lot of people are sleeping. And I think it's important for all of us to put in that work so that we can actually make shit happen. And just because Biden and Kamala are, taking presidency now, that's not a solution or an excuse to just fall back and relax.
That's
Right now, we gotta wake the fuck up. I wanna know about political.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness. I love it. I love it. The
so
interviewee.
I want to know about your political burnout. What the hell happened?
Yes, I'm so down. There's a lot I could say. And I mean, I did launch a congressional campaign a little over a year ago because I just wanted to test out whether it was possible for someone like myself to make it into the halls of Congress. And I was already planning out all the scenes I was going to cause in the halls of Congress and how I was going to torment really conservative people. And I was really inspired, of course, by Ilhan Omar, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and yeah, so definitely wanted to join the squad, but also wanted to test out, can someone like Lil Old Me compete against someone that's funded by corporate superpowers and weapons manufacturers? And it turned out that no, I can't compete with the arms industry. So that was a really hard lesson.
Ooh, Brad Sherman.
What happened? What made you make that realization? Because that's kind of like the same realization that I had with weed in the weed industry. So what made you feel like, fuck, it's not possible?
Honestly, being from the working class, and the working class generally means we're poor, we just don't have money to fund those campaigns. And I just can't even imagine. I was really burnt out, and I just was full of anxiety. I was I'm gonna be in debt from just trying to do something to I'm going to go in debt just from trying to try. And so I just was okay, I'm going to bow out. I think it was really important because I think of us all as performance artists, and maybe people forget, but every day we're creating our reality. And it's so easy because of embodied trauma for us to surrender our power and forget that, the ways that we can resist. And it's because, we've been trained that we need to focus on our survival, and we get our survival by being obedient and by complying with the social order instead of demanding for more. So I was pretty just disappointed, but not surprised. And I identify with anarchy a lot. I have to study it more, but I want to be deep in my studies before being I'm an anarchist. I do believe in autonomy. Yeah, I do believe in pluralism. I can for sure say I really support pluralism, and pluralism to me is recognizing that there is a diversity of practices, political opinions, traditions, cultures, religions, ethnicities, and that everybody should be represented. And there is going to be conflicts, people are not always going to agree, but it's that principle that we're going to be in dialogue, and we're going to do our best to figure something out so that everyone's point of view is represented. We just got to continue talking about it until we figure out something that fits with the majority. And it means that Indigenous people have multiple seats at the table. It means African descended people have multiple seats at the table, historically marginalized have seats at the table, and yeah, just everybody having a seat at the table in decision-making processes. I'm working towards that, and definitely like want to see the abolition of borders and carceral institutions. So that's a little bit about me.
Hell yeah, I definitely agree with the abolition of borders and the abolition of, ICE facilities. Democracy and anarchy are hard as fuck. They sound very fucking beautiful, and we need people to like put in a lot of fucking work because it's everybody taking in their responsibility. And I kind of see a band in that same manner. Like I feel like a band is a little system of anarchy and but also like a co-op. Because I love co-ops.
Yes.
And I found, yes, I found co-ops through the weed industry after feeling burned out and jaded. And yeah, now I feel like everything, band can be a co-op, a lot of things can be co-ops, but it is hard. It is fucking hard to create these systems that are equitable and representative. So hell yeah.
I love that you're bringing co-ops into this, and I love that this is becoming more of like a different kind of session. Yeah, I lived in a student co-op for 3 years, and it was
that's dope. I love co-ops.
Yeah, best times of my life. I definitely, I would love to see more pro-social behavior and cooperatives in the next 5-10 years.
Fuck yes. Living co-ops, student living co-ops are fucking awesome. And some of the adult living co-ops are dope too. Especially in Cali. You're in fucking Cali. Like you guys have some of the best living co-ops I've ever been to in my life.
Come through, come visit. Let's start a co-op. Yes.
Hey.
So speaking of, I guess, environments, ecosystems, and scenes, and I know I have like some visions for what my dream music scene would be, but I really want to know about how you would describe the music scene that you envision for Death is a Business and what kind of music scenes you're creating through your music.
Great question.
Can I go first really quick?
Yep.
Sorry, I know I've been talking a lot, but I just thought of, how Spotify is like so fucking shitty. There's actually an organization, a union of musicians going against Spotify because they're only paying artists cents for their plays.
Fractions of cents.
Yeah. So fuck that. I envision a world where our music as musicians can actually be appreciated and consumed directly, like weed, directly. Like you're not going through Spotify, or if you are going through a middle platform, like that platform is actually equitably paying artists and maybe owned by artists. There isn't an app that exists. It's called Resonate, and it is a co-op. So if you guys don't know about it, look into it. But also join the fight against Spotify because it doesn't fucking pay artists. Like we're not getting shit. So I imagine that for the future of Death is a Business and all musicians, like better ways to actually give our music out because it takes time and so many people don't have access to being a musician and making music because of all the time that it takes. It takes time, it takes money. And also we don't get paid after we make our work. Like what? Like it sounds backwards. Like nobody would want to jump into this. So that's what I hope for in the near future for music.
I think I would add to that conversation about like artists being fairly paid. It also has to be mentioned that we're artists in a society that doesn't guarantee us, healthcare or housing or like, a safe food supply. Those kinds of things or like education, etc. I think it's part of a bigger conversation about creating fair living and working conditions for all people that would also benefit artists. To further bolster Sonya's point, I hope that we can help I hope that we can help more artists learn about cooperative models, learn about models of how we can pool resources together to support each other rather than just like all trying to compete for a little slice of the pie. I think having these kinds of conversations is a start.
Amazing. I love how visionary and politicized this response is. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. Cooperation, collaboration over competition every day. Hell yeah. And we got to dismantle these monopoly men, monopoly people that are just thieving from the creative energy of artists and musicians. There's a huge possibility for it because, there once upon a time, LimeWire was super popular and people, were just like unconsciously like, downloading music from there because like it was the affordable thing to do when like, you can't afford to like pay for the artist's music. That was like over 10 years ago. And, we phased out of it. So I trust we can also phase out of extractive music streaming bullies. Okay, next question.
I mean, just look at our Instagram platforms.
I just
wanted to make a comment about how Instagram is like commodifying its platform so much. Like, why is it a shopping center now?
It's like one of those Amazon checkout places in a Whole Foods, but it's on Instagram.
Yeah, it's crazy. And maybe it is a good thing. Maybe like more people will start using it as a marketplace, and maybe it'll be a digital marketplace where people can exchange fruits and vegetables, but who knows? We will see. We got to use these tools, recreate the using of these tools.
Yes. I've been hearing a lot about Mastodon, so I'm going to try to check it out over the weekend, but I hear it's like, it takes some getting used to, but I'll share more about it via text. So Make Love speaks to subversive pleasure and joy in the face of injustice and in the face of just so much historical tragedy, historic violence. Can you share what inspired such a sublime soundscape?
Okay. Can I share, Alex?
Yeah.
Thanks. So Alex composed the music of the song and I composed the lyric. These lyrics were written when I first came back to Mexico after being an illegal alien for 21 years. So this song and these lyrics are an expression of joy, of haven't seen family for so long, and not having seen like a homeland and a culture. And when we were in Mexico, we realized that we didn't have any songs in Spanish. And all of my family members, we showed them our songs, but they were like, we don't know what they're saying. So we were like, oh fuck. And that's when, at the same time when we were in Mexico, we visited some of the most beautiful beaches. I think Mexico is rich. I don't know how the peso is worth less than the dollar. I really don't know, because it has so many resources, so much culture. And so this song was inspired by all of that. It was inspired by the love of my family, my extended family, my mom, my father, and them like not seeing their parents for years because of being undocumented, and actually never getting to see their parents because all of their parents are dead. This song is basically like a hug and an embrace, and just kind of a beautiful expression of even taking my dad to a nude beach and having him experience that. So this song is about love. This song is about us saying like, okay, let's get carried away with love, but also let's be real about the shit that is happening, and let's be real about everything, and let's really talk about it. So that's really what inspired the lyrics for the song, and I'm so happy that you connected with it because it's a song of liberation.
Totally. I would just add to that, for me, I took the inspiration for this song traveling through such a beautiful country in Mexico and seeing such beautiful beaches. And I didn't feel comfortable or at home at first because, obviously I was in like a place I'd never been in, still struggling to speak the language and everything. We were on the beach and I just finally felt like at ease. I'll never forget that feeling. That's what I wanted to capture.
Wow. Yeah, y'all's collaboration, I find it so magical because there's something about the song. There's so many things about the song. And one of them is that twinkling sound, like doo, doo, doo. People are studying like sound healing. People are studying like all sorts of like the metaphysics of healing. And then musicians, like, they just do it. It's like there's the really incredible people who are studying it and the really incredible geniuses that are like making those sounds. I just appreciate that it, like, the song is subversive and it holds space for rage against like the forces of systemic oppression, while simultaneously like yes, that exists, but like fuck it, like let's put that shit on pause because we're also like we also need to enjoy ourselves.
Yes. And also, we can't take all the credit because I do want to give credit to all the musicians that we collaborated with. They actually took a pretty big role. Like the Twinkle was totally that spot. Yeah, it was Tona on the keys. And it's like, holy shit, like what does happen when we don't try to control everything and we try to let everybody put in a little bit of their piece? And then it's like, holy fucking shit. Like, it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, and the whole like writing and recording of it was very last minute. Like Sonya wrote the song like the same week that we showed it to the musicians, which was like a few days before we recorded it.
Yes, but I won't like it was the only song that we did that way. So I do want to give like perspective to how difficult it is to write songs and to make songs. And I really appreciate the people that put their time into it because it takes effort. Like Alex is more of a songwriter than I am. I'm more like, okay, I hear a beat. Okay, let me just write the lyrics right now. But I feel like Alex has more of a practice where he like sits down and he's like, okay, like I'm gonna make this song today. Like let's make a song like every week, which is a good practice too. I feel like they're both different and they both work in their own ways, but I appreciate both.
Yeah, definitely a good duality for collaboration, like the spontaneity, like when the inspiration hits, and also like the practice, like the ongoing commitment to writing. I dig it.
Sonya's a very, very spontaneous person.
I totally am. I can't help it. It's kind of bad sometimes.
In case the audience is curious, what are your sun signs? I know this wasn't on the original list of questions. Want to share?
That's okay. I don't really know what a sun sign
like
is.
Our horoscope?
Like your main, like main astrological sign.
Guess.
Okay, spontaneous. I would say fire sign or air sign. Not so. I wouldn't guess earth sign if you're spontaneous. I'm not hating on anybody. Like I know earth signs that are also spontaneous, but I know that they also plan.
I'm not an earth sign. My dad is. Taurus is an earth sign?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my dad's totally a Taurus. I'm an Aquarius, which I think is an air sign.
Yeah.
Like it's like aqua. I always get confused because I think it's water, but I think it's actually air.
Yeah. I used to get confused with it too. Yeah, it's a water bear, and yeah, they say that like they're all about transformation and creativity and yeah.
And craziness. Yes.
I'm a Capricorn.
Woo, woo. Shout out to our Capricorns. I like to pretend I'm a Capricorn to like, I don't know, do structure in my life. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a Capricorn or a Virgo, get my shit together.
You're totally an organizer. Wait, what sign are you, Paula?
I'm a Leo.
Oh my God. One of my really good friends, my cousin, is a Leo.
Yes.
You guys are very, well, I don't know. She's very sweet. You guys are very sweet. Like very like giving.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I learned so much from all of the signs, and I've noticed like the energy between different signs. So I got my Aquarius homies, I got my Capricorn homies, and I learn from each sign so much. So the next question is, what does producing transformative soundscapes across borders mean to you?
Alex, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I guess I would say that working across borders is more conducive to creating more transformative soundscapes. So I'm somewhat of like I'm like my own music scholar. Like I just really like studying different forms of music from around the world and different time periods. Being able to travel and make music is an opportunity in that sense because hopefully you can meet local musicians that might play different kinds of instruments or know different kinds of styles or musical cultures and I definitely have a curiosity to incorporate those kinds of influences into our sound.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I guess for me, it's basically just doing what we did last time in Mexico. Just like finding musicians, hitting them up, coming together, recording like 8 songs, and then giving space for people to put in their own little piece of magic that they carry. Because I feel like we all carry that little piece of magic. And I feel like music is such a beautiful way to just put all that magic together. So, yeah. And with that, comes the political aspect of it because we're all human. We all exist in this world and we're all experiencing this crazy bullshit. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it through music. And hopefully we make something really delicious that people can connect to and dance to and continue that conversation. So that's what I feel like creating that space looks like. Thank you for that question.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much. And I'm so happy that y'all got to collaborate with musicians in Mexico and that y'all have been spending time in Oaxaca. I have a piece of my heart
Yeah.
in Oaxaca.
You've been to Oaxaca too?
Yes, yes. And I definitely
Tell
want
me
to
about
connect
it.
you all with some friends I have out there for next time you go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to connect you to Oaxaca is definitely like I think my favorite. I haven't gone to all of Mexico, but it's probably one of my favorite states. Just because there's like indigenous culture. You're
Yeah.
not even listening to English or Spanish anymore. Like now you're listening to Zapoteco. And now you feel weird as fuck when you don't know how to talk Zapoteco in some of these towns that have preserved their culture. Like it's so fucking magical. I spent like a month in Teotitlán del Valle, which is a little village in Oaxaca. And the way of life, the market, the people, the culture preservation, and there's no cellular service there,
Yeah.
which is why they've been able to preserve no 5G, no 3G, no 4G.
I
Just
could live with
people.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we really got to learn from these cultures that like are still here. Yeah, I love Oaxaca. Oaxaca Gallery, you guys, everybody please check out Oaxaca Gallery. It's a beautiful magical space. They're also a co-op. They help artesanos, they help people that create sell, and it's not just one person keeping the profit. It's like the owner of the gallery sharing that profit equitably with the artist.
Yes. All right, y'all. You hear that? Oaxaca Gallery. Hopefully, see everyone in Oaxaca. In the dream world, in another reality after this pandemic is over. I'm so here for it. So, one of our last questions on this list is what roles do you see music play in movements for justice, equity, and collective survival?
Alex, you can take this one first.
Justice, equity, and collective survival. Ooh, all right, yeah, that's
It's
a
a
good
big
question.
one. Sorry to put the pressure
Okay,
on
I
you.
can do it. I can do it. I just wanted to give you space.
Go ahead.
Well, I just feel like art is the revolution. Like art is revolution, and we need to engage with art as we. It's not just about consuming art. Like we gotta make art, and I think it goes back a little bit to what you were saying, Paula, about the dancing and every form of art just being some form of like we can't just consume, we have to produce because that's how we engage in love, I think, through art. Snap.
Yeah. Um, Beautiful. For me, I see music making and art making. I mean, it's a form of communication and therefore a form of organization. And so in the big picture, I do see our music journey as being one that I want to work towards justice and equity and liberation wherever we can. I want to help educate people. I want to help empower people to take a more active role in their lives and in their communities. But at like the most basic function, I think anytime that we put on a music show or some kind of event and we get, a whole bunch of people all in one room together for, a peaceful purpose, like to just enjoy music together, I think there's still something very radical about that, because when people are under one roof, there's opportunity for ideas to be exchanged and conversations to be had. So I think we're helping facilitate that.
Hell yeah. I want to just give a quick shout out to an event that we did. Loud politics, loud music, loud weed. And this is when we were first starting to like test the waters. And it was definitely dope to have one event with multiple artists performing, but also conversations about like our world, our life. Like we had a weed panel that day, and we had several weed activists in the state of New York talk about this shit. And I say weed activists because we're not calling companies to come to these events. Like we don't want to hear the corporate story. We want to hear the people's story. Yeah, having the panels, having the musicians, everybody sharing their piece, and it is really powerful. Hell yeah. Shout out to music. I love music.
Yes, shout out to music. It gives us so much life to keep on keeping on. Yeah, so I definitely see you all playing a set at the Revolution, like without a doubt. I'm a very dreamy person in the sense that like I fantasize a lot, and like I think about like all the idealisms that I'd like to see come to fruition. And there's a vision I have for politicized cabaret, or like just kind of like remixing older styles of performance and spaces for music to be shared and people to be dancing. And I also like think about what could actually like intervene on the violence and division that we see amongst different groups today. And I always come to like music playing a role in disarming people who are like trying to fight each other. And I just see like the extremes of multiple groups of people. We're going to continue repeating cycles of confrontation and militarized violence if we don't intervene on historic embodied trauma. And what better way to do that than to listen to music and to dance? I really see you all playing a role in those processes of transitional justice and just making people feel good and supporting people's collective healing. So I'm really excited to see you all play live shows. I'm really excited to be on the dance floor with loved ones and shimmying at loved ones and blowing kisses at loved ones. So yeah, I really hope to be at one of your shows in the near future. Maybe play a show with you all, anything. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's do this shit.
Let's handle that scandal.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining today and for being available for an interview. I hope friends are watching, and I hope you go and give Death is a Business a follow. Please support their music. I know that any proceeds from purchasing their music on Bandcamp will go to the Cosecha movement, and Cosecha is this incredible movement that has multiple chapters across the country, and they are organizing, centering the voices of immigrants with lived experience and working for immigrant rights and an end to the US immigration system as operated by ICE.
Fuck yes.
Any last words?
Fuck yes. I would say thank you. Thank you for hosting this interview. It was really beautiful and fun, and I love the questions. And if people are on the lookout for the next thing, it should be coming out pretty soon. This is less of a spontaneous project and more of a long-term project. And the song is called Mother Earth. I'm really excited to launch this. It's gonna be beautiful. The artwork is being done by a woman named Heroine Illustrations on Instagram. It's gonna be really graphic, so I hope people are prepared for it. But Mother Earth is coming.
Hey, Mother Earth is a wrath when she's not respected. Hey, yes, much love.
valoro el arte, pero no el artesano. Pero tarde o temprano, yo te digo, mi hermano, crearemos un mundo distinto. Adiós a toda esta mierda